G'day, I'm Murray. This is my backyard and I've been meaning to plant some Brahmi for some time. I usually plant it in something like this. This is a self-watering pot. The mangoes are an optional extra with this type of pot, I believe. Instead of doing what I usually do, which leads to way too much Brahmi for my purposes, I'm going to convert a 20mm, what's that, 8-inch flower bucket into a self-watering pot and plant it in there. We've got our bucket, we've got a knife. You can see where this is going. Okay, how much water do I want in the bottom? Quite a bit this time, I reckon. Oh, should I get the saw? Nearly there. This is a spring-loaded bench, by the way. I haven't done this before, but I figure it's worth a shot. Come on, out. Okay, self-watering pot. Stuffing from inside a mattress. So we go inside about there. It's a big piece this time, so the magpies can't pull it out. Or other birds. Other birds are available. It's a very deep-rooted plant, and the roots tend to go straight down. Swamp plant. It's very hard to work out where this is native to because it's turned up all around the world, but I believe it's native to India. And is known as the memory herb because it is supposed to help memory, improve it, etc. It tastes pretty feral. It's very... The bitterness sneaks up on you and just keeps increasing, and then the soapiness takes over. Honestly, it's not very nice, but 2 5cm sprigs a day, it's famously good for memory. I popped into town earlier and visited the live Brahmi plant store, where for the very reasonable price of $0, I got a bunch of Brahmi. I'll show you that now. In this particular spot, it's growing in amongst lawn. There's lighter green patches all over the place, which is Brahmi. It has these little white flowers, which are pretty cute, but it's one of the easy ways to tell whether something is Brahmi or not. That and the taste. Yeah, this is a spot with permanent water nearby because there's a weir downstream that backs up water. I'm sure this
these plants have got roots that go straight down to the water level and below because they love wet feet. Here's an enormous patch of it. Well, admire the view first. But this big light green sort of raft of Brahmi growing on the bank is going crazy. I figure someone upstream must have been growing it and either seeds washed downstream or bits of the plant, and probably it lines the whole creek upstream of here. The next weir downstream is the freshwater saltwater divide, so I don't think it's gone past the next weir, but there's absolutely tons of it about and it is spreading along the bank, which is handy for me, but maybe a bit of a weed invasive for some of the other plants. Good piece with some roots. Oop. We really don't need that dirt. Couple more pieces for good measure. Right, chuck that in a plastic bag with a piece of damp towel and we'll take that home. Here's the haul. Obviously it's not hard to get more. I probably have more than I need, which is fine because no one's harvesting that stuff yet. They may if they see this video. Good luck to them. This roots wherever it touches the ground. It's very good at growing roots. And it's actually quite hardy for a swamp plant. I have nothing against swamp plants. I won't say some of my best friends are swamp plants, because they may watch this video. And it's just blatantly not true. Oops, that's copyright. So yeah, just get it in there, bury it a bit. If you bury a whole piece up to, yeah, it's going that way, up to there, it'll only shoot off out of the bit that's out of the ground. So I do like to put them in horizontally like this. So that should be broken because there's a bend in it. And, you know, really crowd the pot. That's my goal here. Just get as much in as you can and it will be overflowing in no time. That one's a bit tricky. And just poke it down a bit. And this last bit. And we'll see on those too, but there's going to be a ton of Brahmi here in no time. I tell you what, we'll check back in on that in 28 days. See how it's going. It gets slowed down a fair bit when you've just put it in. So it should be taking off in a couple of weeks.
and 28 days. Yeah, it won't be ready to harvest any yet, I would say, but I could be wrong. Okay. 28 days later. If you're buying Brahmi capsules, you're going to be paying about $2 a day to maintain a dose in the morning and the evening. It does seem a bit expensive when you can grow the herb and have an unlimited quantity. Now, the drawback is I'm not quite sure what the dose of the herb is, the fresh herb. I know I read somewhere once 2 5-centimetre sprigs a day. I'm assuming that's morning and evening. Also, because of the intense bitterness you get out of it, probably best just before a meal to help get your digestion going, the way Swedish bitters and other things are used. I'm going to move this up onto the balcony so that it's more convenient for me to grab, because I'm not necessarily in the nursery twice a day. But okay, so what's going to happen is it's going to be okay for a second, and then the bitterness is going to start to climb, and then after 15 seconds or so I think the soapiness kicks in. That's about it. I haven't had this for quite a while. Bit of a test to see how little expression I can get on my face while I'm eating something that tastes awful. I've had sprigs in sandwiches before, didn't even know it was there. So there are ways to get around the horrible flavour. Fresh, just dumped in the sandwich, chewed up, didn't notice it. Yep, that's awful stuff. Anyway, if you're interested in growing Brahmi, it's worth a shot. It's easy to grow. I won't have to do anything to that pot. One of the reasons I didn't want to use one of the long self-watering pots is because it produces way too much of the herb. You'd need a family of 10 eating it twice a day. Oh. Sticks with you, and you can't wash the flavour out. Yeah, great fun. Anyway, if you're in Gladstone, you might be able to work out where I got that Brahmi. And apart from that, have a good one.